Hello, hello. I tell you what, that never gets old. Absolutely never gets old. Right. So, hello everyone. We are live on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel, on bleeding everywhere, it seems. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching, and if you are, please pop up in the comments. We do want to hear from you all. We love seeing any questions or comments or jokes or whatever you want to throw at us. We'll take it all. So, what's tonight about? Tonight is about long distance motorcycle riding. Now, there's a bit of a reason why we've chosen this particular topic. We'll come to that in a second. But we've got some guests with us tonight. Some are going to be coming, some are going to be going. We've got a few arriving at different points during the night, so it's all good. Yes, so if you are watching, guys, as I say, just pop up and say hello. Claire, you're always the first person. It's fantastic. I love to see you, Claire. Hello. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope you're well. Right. So first of all, we're going to bring in my co-conspirator, someone who's equally as crazy as me in many ways. Let's face it. We're going to bring in the lovely Nigel. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much for joining in, buddy. We've also got with us this evening Dan the man. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
Hi, everyone.
In his van. Look at that, Dan the van in a van. And we've also got where is he? We have someone very close to the camera, Scott. There he is. Look at that. Hey, loving the t-shirt. Loving that t-shirt you've got there, matey. How are you, Scott?
Not too bad yourself.
Very well, mate. Very well. Thank you very much for joining in. So, what we'll do before we get things all kicked off and before we go into what we're talking about today, let's do a bit of introduction for anyone who may not have seen you before. Nigel, who are you? Where have you come from? What do you ride? What's it all about, sir?
Well, I think I ride everybody's bike in the bike group if I given a chance, but my own bike is the K1600 and a rather dangerous Honda 400 twin. But the K1600 is my big animal, and as I've proven many times, you can't ride it around the block. You always do hundreds of miles on it.
Yes, no, it seems to be stuck on, doesn't it? You can't turn it off until you've done a few hundred miles or whatever it may be. Okay, brilliant, nice. Thank you very much. Dan, we brought you in next. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you all about, sir?
I'm Dan. I'm from Leicester. I'm KTM 1290 Super Adventure. Been across a bit of northern France earlier this year. Looking forward to the 1,000 miles big challenge.
Hey,
yeah,
that's a clue to what
should be some fun.
Right? Yeah, it will be fun, mate. We've, I think me and Nigel have done it before, so we're quite experienced in it, and yeah, we'll definitely give you some hints and tips on that as we go. And finally, Scott. Hello, Scott. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you about, sir?
I'm Scott. I'm from Lilburn, just outside Rugby. My bike I ride is the Triumph Tiger 1200. It's definitely seen better days.
It's a great bike, and you've been really getting on well with that recently, haven't you, mate?
Yes, I have. quite a bit of off green laning, as you experienced.
Saw that video. That was interesting. That was good to see. Right, so already we've got people watching us, which is fantastic. Hello, guys. If you're tuning in again, just pop your comments in there for you. We've got Claire, we've already said hello to. We've got Bill. Hello, Bill. Another fellow YouTuber. Another influencer, social media god. Hope you're well, Bill, and hope you're keeping well, matey. And thank you very much for tuning in. And we've also got another one saying hello there as well. Hello, good to see you. Right, so tonight, what are we discussing, lads? We are discussing long distance motorcycle riding. Question. What is long distance motorcycle riding? Is it different for every person? Is it different for everyone? A different style of riding, different bikes? What would you, when someone says to you, Dan, I'm going to come to you first, long distance motorcycle riding, what was the first thing that comes to your head?
Pain.
Well, that's it. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, that's it, done. No, I think we just mentally, really, just the mental sort of physical aspect of it is like, you know, anyone can walk around for 24 hours, but I think having to sit in the same place, looking in the same direction for 24 hours without any real breaks is going to be quite something. And, you know, you're going to be dealing with probably 2 lots of blackouts. You're going to be dealing with rain, traffic, all at times when you want to be in bed. You know, so you got to dig real deep and just dig really deep. I'm under no illusion that it's going to be a tough day out, but I think we've just got to dig deep eat right, get it done. Get it done for a great charity.
Yep. No, and that's a great thing. So for anyone that's tuning in that hasn't seen it, firstly, where have you been? It's all over social media. You should be able to see what we're doing. We are all taking part of what's called the Saddle Saw 1000. So what is Saddle Saw 1000? Well, as Dan quite quickly alluded there, it's 1,000 miles that we'll be riding. We're doing it in the name of charity. Our chosen charity this year is Mighton Hospice, and we've got to cover this 1,000 miles. I keep saying it's ridiculous. 1,000 miles within 24 hours. It is one hell of a challenge. Now, me and Nigel have done it before. I'm pointing there. He's there. Me and Nigel have done it before. It is well. Go on, Nigel. How was it? How did you find it?
Well, I think before we did it this time last year, I was concerned about the physical side of it, the backaches, the cramps, sitting in that position. It's not a typical ride out. It's not a sprint.
Nope.
It's doing fairly consistent speeds and being very smooth and keeping your speed up. And it was the physical bit I was concerned about. But as you just said, the worst bit for me was about the last 3 hours when your blood sugars are low. It's dark. You're way over tiredness. It was damp and raining. We got roads closing. And it was having to dig deep because during the daytime, you see something on the road, you react to it, you go around it, whatever. We were getting towards the end where we were thinking, well, if I hit it, I hit it. We're just keeping going. And at the end, I think what summed it up for me was when we finally stood at the garage at the A45, at the BP garage at the end when we arrived, the three of us put our arms around each other and I think we were holding each other up. There was nothing left in the tank. It's a mental drain. It's the physical bit, relatively straightforward. And there was a few tricks and things we can share with you, things like eating and drinking and what not to do. Just interesting enough, I hit the wall about 3 hours to go and I was nearly out of it. I was so tired.
Yeah, I remember that.
Somebody gave me my first ever Red Bull and I was ready to take on anybody. And then about an hour later, I came next to somebody on the road. I can't remember who it was, but he was doing 75 miles an hour fast asleep. And we couldn't get his attention. I was waving at him, beeping, pulling him up.
God knows who that was.
I can't remember who it was, but he had a beard. And we got him off the road eventually. He was on autopilot,
It's mad, isn't it?
It's the mental bit. It's the keeping it going. The physical bit, not a problem.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. It's because, physically, you're not doing much. I'll tell you, we'll come back to this in a second. Scott, out of interest, what's the furthest you've gone on your bike in a day?
About 550 odd miles.
550. Okay, and which is, that is nothing to be sniffed at. That's a hell of a journey in a day. Where was that out of interest? What? So where we're talking, from point to point, or what?
So this was where I was previously living. So it was from Woodford, and we headed through all the back, obviously the back villages and everything, all the way to Aberystwyth.
Yep.
Went all the way up to Bala over the mountains. A couple of other places, and then obviously we headed back as well. I think, but the thing that killed us the most during that is we also did it on one of the hottest days of the year as well.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's not going to help.
Yeah.
No, there's so many factors that can take its toll on you when you're riding a bike in general. Forget this challenge for a second. If it's hot, if it's cold, if it's rainy, if the visibility is less, if there's traffic on all these tiny little factors all add up to be something which is just, it's crazy. When you then add on the distance we're going to be traveling, when you add on the time constraint, and you're fighting against the clock, and you're continuously making sure, are we going to be okay? Are you okay? Is the person behind you okay? Is the route okay? What's going on with the route ahead of you? There's so many little things to think about that you almost get lost in it. And Nigel said it. As you probably guessed, it was myself that was just autopilot. You're just focusing so hard on what's ahead of you and what's in front of you. You daren't blink because it's just crazy. Now, by the way, we're not trying to put you off, guys. We're just trying to give you an idea of the sort of challenges ahead of you. Dan, out of interest, go on, Nigel.
I was just going to say, somebody's put a question about what kind of speeds we were doing.
Yes.
So to give you an idea, the challenge is about keeping it smooth and consistent and not getting stuck behind cars and things. But also you've got to be riding, watching your team, making sure you're all together, which is another challenge. So we hit the Scottish border and we'd averaged from Warwick to the Scottish border at 72 miles an hour average. And there were no particularly fast blasts. I mean, there were a couple of times when we caught up a little bit, but it was all about getting as quickly as possible onto the quicker roads and then holding that. It's about being smooth, because if you start racing, and I mean, like you said, 500 miles over the Welsh Mountains is bloody tiring, because you're throwing it around, it's physical, whatever. This is different. This is keeping it smooth, keeping it going, watching your fuel, watching your guys in the mirrors, all of those things. So it's the concentration level that's different. And also, having something to listen to, because you go stir crazy as well otherwise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, sorry, Dan, just to come to you, mate. How many miles have you done in a day?
Well, I've done the lakes across to Whitby and back, around about 500 miles, but obviously with a few breaks. But fairly comfortable. I think with some good chaps behind us, we'll spur on.
Okay, that seems good. Oh, just quickly there, Claire, my mum is giving you a tenner for you guys. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Claire, and please don't forget to click gift aid, because then you get that little boost as well. That's amazing.
Does your mum want to come with us on pillion?
I wouldn't want to take a pillion. That's a lot of responsibility for that day. Right, so let's talk about the actual route, the proposed route that we've got in mind. So now we've taken a little bit of a hint from what we did last year. Nigel, I think I've already shown you this. I'll show you guys as well. So this is an idea of the proposed route. So we are going from Midlands base. So we're saying Warwick as an idea, Birmingham up to Stoke-on-Trent, past Manchester, past Preston, past Lancaster, Carlisle, Glasgow, up to Fort William and through there, across to the Isle of Skye and up to Dingwall, which is a beautiful little spot. We used the Tesco, I think we used last time, just as a fuel and food stop. And that's the halfway point. At that point, you think, right, down we go. And then you literally get back on your bike and you're heading down south. And it's, oh my God. It is
James, it was worse than that. We hit Dingwall 9 hours in.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Actually,
we weren't even halfway, and we were almost at the top edge of Scotland.
Yep, it's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
When we worked it out before, we said it was like riding from Birmingham to Paris and back again, or doing Stratford down to Land's End, and then coming home and then doing it a couple of more times.
Yep, that's the one that got me. I mean, riding to Paris, okay, yeah, that's a hell of a feat. But it's like getting on your bike in the Midlands, getting on your bike, going all the way down to Land's End, coming all the way back, and then going right, turn around, and back you go again. That blew me away. 1,000 miles, guys. This is absolutely mental. We've done these 500-mile journeys before, and they've been brilliant. You've enjoyed it, but then you get home and you think, right, 500 miles done. Happy days. I'll sit down and have a cup of tea. You can't. That is literally the halfway point. And also, to give you a bit of an idea as well, because of the way that the Iron Butt Association, which is the accredited board, if you like, or the governing body that's behind this particular challenge, the way that they do it, they don't literally take our route and take our mileage. What they do is they take it from your receipt from each petrol station or each stop that you get. So if you stop for a chocolate bar or for a drink or some fuel or whatever it is, you get that receipt, and they will literally put it in as the fastest possible route from point to point to point. So if you get diverted, like we did last year, and you get caught on some roadworks and you have to go off and do some sort of, off that way sort of thing, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You literally get from point to point to point. The only way you can potentially get around that, if you get diverted, and it is a fair few miles out of the way, or it adds a bit more time on or whatever, at the furthest point of that diversion, stop, buy something, for God's sake, take a picture of your receipt with your bike's mileage, and then carry on. So it's crazy. Although you've got all this planning and everything in the background, you're potentially going to have to replan things and rethink things, and you've got to think on your feet. And that's why, like we said earlier, Nigel, you've got to be able to think as a team and work together.
We actually clocked up just over 1,100 miles to get there, and we left Scotland, the Scottish border, with an hour and a half in hand. And by the time we actually arrived back at our starting point, I think we had about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, it was so close down to the wire, and we weren't hanging around. We weren't, we were keeping what we thought was a really good pace. I think at the halfway point, we were what we thought was a good 2 hours or so ahead.
Yeah.
And we made the fatal mistake of relaxing and kind of going, we're 2 hours ahead. It's fine. You can't afford to relax. You can't. It is. I mean, it's called a challenge for a reason. It is one hell of a challenge to do.
I think what we did in last time, we looked at the distance, we looked at the average speed, we allowed a bit on for brakes and everything else. We'll talk about those. But what we didn't bank on was getting stuck in closed roads in Berwick-on-Tweed, going around in the dark, trying to find a way out. and
Yeah.
then getting caught in, believe it or not, the A46 in Warwick. All the roads were shut. So we ended up coming through the centre of Coventry in the early hours of the morning.
That completely threw us, didn't it? That was just mental. Now, last year we had Gaia, who was our support crew, and massively appreciate her doing everything there. This year we've got another support crew, a couple new people. We've got Zuza, who's actually just popped up saying hello to you, Nigel. You got your groupie, and we've also got Sue, who I believe is watching as well. If you are watching, Sue, hello. So this year we're doing it slightly differently to try and get ahead of the curve and try and make sure that we don't get caught in any sort of traffic or anything. So we've got a couple of apps and a couple of websites which we're hoping to use, and they're going to monitor the roads, monitor the traffic, monitor any sort of potential incidents, and keep us informed. Okay, so they're gonna keep in touch with us and just help us to go along. So there's no, hopefully, touch wood, and we can't expect everything, but no unexpected surprises, which would be interesting. So what are we doing to prepare ourselves apart from counselling? What are we doing? Scott, so have you done any sort of riding? Keith, if you're watching, matey, which you obviously are because you've just commented, please feel free to come join us. You should have the invite in the chat we were speaking earlier. Keith is another one of the riders who's joining us for this this particular journey. So Keith, come and join us and join in. Zuza wants to be pillion. I thought you were going to be in Poland. Nigel pick you up on the way over.
Yeah, I'll take you to Poland.
Yeah, he will. And then we've also got Tara. Hello, Tara. Good to see you, my lovely. Thank you for joining in. Right, so coming back to you, Scott. What have you been doing to prepare for this incredible challenge, this incredible feat?
Well, I think I'm beyond help at that stage. To be fair,
we all are, mate.
As you personally know me, but I mean, the other week, not last weekend, I think it was the weekend before, my housemate decided at 2:00 in the afternoon. It thought, like, let's go down to Wales. So I didn't get back till 4:00 in the morning. So that was a good 500-mile round trip.
Right. Yeah. That's okay. And that was okay for you. You just thought. I mean, that's quite spontaneous. Fair play for doing that, by the way.
That was said by the guy that took us all the way down to Southampton for 10 minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was a good 10 minutes. That was a fantastic 10 minutes.
It weren't too bad, to be fair. I think the only thing that people don't realise with like long distance riding, especially like the such high distances, what we're going to be doing is, after a while, and as you and Nigel have pointed out, it starts to take its toll on you. It's like, not only does it affect your back, it's just like your shoulders start to stiffen up, and that's where it starts to like really affect you.
We've got someone who's going to come join us in a second. I can see him in the background. So, Glenn, just give me 1 second, mate. I will bring you straight in. So last year, I was very, very fortunate. Honda UK lent us the incredible Goldwing, which is the boat, which is the most incredible, luxurious, comfortable bike in the world. I tell you now, it does not matter what bike you're on. You do 1,000 miles on a cloud, it's gonna hurt. And I was exactly the same. Even though it is the most comfortable bike in the world, I found my legs. I was like, oh no, I just need to move and stretch. But you can't. You're on a bloody motorbike. You need to just keep going. It's crazy. Right, Glenn, we're going to bring you in, buddy. Here we go. So Glenn is one of the newcomers. He's coming to join us for the 1,000 mile well. Glenn, who are you? Where are you from? And what do you ride, sir?
I live in Lilbourne, which is near Rugby, and I've got a VFR 800. It's a 2012. I'm not long had it, but it's basically brand new. It had only done 1,600 miles when I got it. It was still just being running. It's nearly done 5,000 now. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to adding a lot more on the clock.
Yeah, at least 1,000 more. Let's be honest.
At least 1,000 more, definitely. Yeah, I would have.
Go on.
Yeah, no, I would have come on a lot earlier, but I was on the YouTube channel and it weren't letting me I had to get the wife to come down and help me upload this properly.
So basically what you're saying is you're going to be the troublesome one for this journey then. You're going to be the one that struggles with technology and ways and directions and oh God. We'll put you at the back of the pack, mate.
If I've got a sat nav in front of me, I'll be fine. I've drove up to Scotland a few times. But
is that
yeah,
in a car or a bike?
It was in a car. A van actually. With a bike in the back.
Right. Well, that's kind of cheating, but so Glenn, what's the furthest you've done in a day riding?
Right. Okay. I've only done about 300 miles, really.
Okay.
But no, I'm a hard worker. I'm up for a challenge.
It's not a job interview, mate.
I definitely ain't up for letting people down.
It's okay. So, I think Chris has just come on and said hello as well. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in, buddy. So yeah, Glenn, it's 300 miles. I mean, what was that? Was that on your VFR?
No, that was on my what is it? FR 125.
Oh bloody hell!
So
you'll be fine. You'll be fine, mate.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can do on that.
Here we go.
Scotland on the R6 never again. Fuck that.
Yeah, there's Bill for you. That's a bit of advice for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going back down to the old CBT styles.
So, okay, out of interest, Glenn, what have you been doing to prepare for this this journey? Have you done, have you got any rides planned between now and when we go to get used to it, to warm you up to it, to get you into the idea?
I am trying to plan some rides. We're meant to be riding this weekend to Wales. It's our second anniversary, me and the wife. So we were going to go ride to Snowdonia and then ride around Wales.
Congratulations, by the way.
I ride every day to work, obviously. Apparently, I do a lot of rides, but it's just not as as continuous as what. Yeah, the plan.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So
I like turf. I like turf. I'm up for a challenge. I'm a hard worker. I mean, yeah. So
we'll
I'm
consider your
really
application and we'll come back to you. Hang on.
Really
Guys, I'm gonna have to pause tonight. We've got someone in the waiting room for us. A bit of trouble. We have the man, the myth, the legend. We have Keith. Jock.
Hello, people.
Hello, mate.
How's it going?
Very well, mate. Very well. Keith, very
Your
well.
head's gone upside down.
Super.
That's a very flat.
He's in his conservatory.
I am.
For anyone who doesn't know who you are, and there may be one person, I don't know. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you ride? And where are you really from?
Well, I live in Leicester.
Yeah.
I'm Keith. Anyway, I ride a GS 1250 GSA and also H2SX SE.
And you Welsh, aren't you, Keith?
Yes, half Welsh, half Irish, Nigel.
Jesus Christ. So you got a couple of bikes you mentioned there. Which one are you doing the challenge on?
It'll be the GSA.
Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. And okay, so give us a bit of idea about your history. What sort of riding have you done before? What's the longest you've done in a day?
Probably. I think the most I've done is about 500 miles.
Okay.
We've done a fair bit over in France, didn't we, Dan?
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, a bit of
Yeah,
flying.
they were lovely roads though with no traffic.
Yeah, we did do a bit of flying, Nigel, as well in the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Scottish song about 500 miles, isn't there?
Oh,
yeah.
for God's sake.
I'll take the bike. I'm not walking.
Right, so
your legs did come up in the air, didn't they, Doc?
Hey?
Listen, what
Your
you do
legs
at the
came
night,
up on your flying trip.
what
No,
you two
not
do
at
at
all,
night time is completely up to you guys. I'm not going to get into that. That is up to you. Right, okay. So you actually mentioned something I was going to bring up a bit later on, but I might as well go for it now. A lot of people who do these sort of challenges. Okay, so they do these 1,000 miles, the 2,000 miles. There's loads of different versions of it, but 1,000 miles is the most popular one that people seem to do. And a lot of the people who give us feedback, or I've seen comments before and say, "Oh, it's not that hard. It's not that it's easy." They live in places like France, Germany, but Europe, where the roads are beautifully long. They can get that average speed, they can keep it there, and they can just go and go and go and tractor, and there's nothing to worry about. It is so so different here in the UK, because all it takes is one issue, one bit of road works or something to hold you up, and that's it. You are absolutely screwed. The roads are not as nice, they're not as flowing. There's so many different factors that can take into it. Keith, have you seen the route actually, out of interest?
Yeah. I was trying to get on. I did see the route, so it should be
Okay, yeah. I mean, what's your initial thoughts then? Come on, I want to hear how are you feeling about it? Are you feeling confident? Are you thinking, oh crap, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm just thinking I might put an air seat on, mate.
Yes, that will help. I can promise you that. Obviously, I would recommend to everyone who does long distance riding to prepare not just yourselves mentally, obviously your bikes as well. Go through all the checks that you should do. Check your normal things, your oil, the water, the tires. Make sure your tires have got decent tread and decent life on them. It's 1,000 miles. You may have a few mil and think, oh, that's fantastic. I've got plenty of life in that. This will kill a tire off, especially in the Scottish roads. Some of the roads up there are quite amazing for grip, but they're quite aggressive and they do bite into your tires. I have got somewhere. So yes, we've got hints and tips of how to stay comfortable. Oh, go on, Nigel.
I was going to say, is it worth us sharing some of the things that we were told and we found as we were doing it as well?
Absolutely. Go on, I'll let you start, buddy. What's your first point?
Okay, so some of the things we were advised to do, which we followed and worked. One of them was not to stop for any big meals, but to graze, because you tend to crash physically about 3/4 an hour to an hour afterwards. So we were stopping roughly the same kind of distance, somewhere around about 150 miles, give or take. Even if the tank was still half full or whatever, we were stopping, one, to get the receipt and the marker, but two, just to have a mental break. And we've kept the times generally about the same sort of duration. And that worked because we didn't stop for any one big meal or any big break anywhere. Somebody said, wearing cycle shorts or something padded underneath your bike gear. Yeah, I did that and that worked.
Yes.
Or some people had like the air seats and things, but doing something because you are in the same position all the time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you've got a bike with cruise control, that makes a hell of a difference, because at least you can take your both hands off at different times and have a break from vibration. Otherwise, it's a hell of a long way in one position.
See, that's an interesting comment, because I've heard conflicting things about cruise control. I mean, right, show of hands, guys. Who's got cruise control on their bike? Yeah, right. So you've obviously all used cruise control before. If you are using it for, between junctions, or as Nigel said, to shake your hands off and whatever, great, because that's obviously going to give you a little bit of a break and allow you to move around. But relying on cruise control, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because that's taking one less thing to think about. You're more likely to start relaxing and your eyes might start drifting because you're not concentrating much. I would say if you've got cruise control, use it in small doses. Actually being physically in control of the bike, that's giving you something to concentrate on, to keep looking at your speed and make sure everything's all right with that. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Dan, have you got cruise control?
The other thing, James, is if you're coming into... I've just been caught a couple of times on the 3 points going into a 60 zone on a motorway. And when they drop the speed down into variable, they are getting you within 2 or 3 mile an hour over. So that's one of the places where it's actually really useful just to lock it on that. You're still riding the bike, you're still holding the handlebars, but it just stops. Particularly on, nearly all of us are riding bikes a litre plus. And if you're not careful, you look down and suddenly you're doing 10 or 15 mile an hour faster than you thought you were. Yeah, no, it's so easy to do, especially that little lapse of concentration. It's crazy. Sorry, Dan, what were you saying, mate?
I ordered myself. Sorry.
Too many people. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I just ordered the throttle lock for what you can use as your cruise control. It's only a couple of quid. So yeah, I've never used one, but I was thinking maybe it's a good idea when you're just on a steady stream flow, and so you can just relax each hand. I tend to get more cramp in my left hand anyway than I do my throttle hand.
Okay.
But I ordered
if you're going to try anything on the ride that's new, don't try it for the first time on that ride.
Exactly.
Get out and play
everything I've ordered anyway is all coming in within the next week. So I've got a crash bar, some new fog lights, some rear lights I'm adding to it.
Bloody hell, you're buying a whole new bike.
Is it a scooter?
Well, not really. I mean, the crash bar was probably the most expensive. The rest of it was only a couple of quid, so it's not too bad.
Okay. But as Nigel said, definitely once you get it, go out, test it. Don't just go around the block with it, guys.
Definitely.
You know, go and. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, between now and when we go, I would go and get a journey if you can, 600-700 miles or something. Just go and do it, because if you struggle with that, you've got no hope with the 1,000-mile one. It is tough.
Okay.
So that's
I agree with that.
It's up to you guys.
No, I agree with that.
Just to give you an idea of what we kind of went through. So, rightly or wrongly, last time we hit the road just before 4:30 in the morning, and the logic was to get on empty roads and get a few miles behind us, and to get past the rush hour. But that meant that we had the last 3 hours on low blood sugar and dark and everything else in the dark. But we've been kind of talking that through. But what happens? You realise how far you're going when we were meeting the morning rush hour going into Glasgow.
That was crazy.
We got to Manchester and it absolutely threw it down. So we were going through roadworks and stuff in heavy rain. Fortunately, after that, Scotland was dry all the way through, and that bit across the middle of Scotland was absolutely beautiful.
I
across
enjoyed
the
that.
lots and that. So a lot of the time we were riding, a few bike lengths apart. Across Scotland, we were anything up to half a mile apart, but we could see each other because it was just long, beautiful roads. Everybody was riding sensibly, and then we all kind of grouped back up again as we started coming back down the twisty bits.
Yep, no, absolutely. You mentioned about the weather, the changes. Obviously, doing the length of the country is inevitable. That we're probably going to get into. Obviously, dark is definite. Cold, wet if it rains. So please invest, or if you've already got it, great. Proper, suitable bike gear. I'm not talking about layers. Don't get all these millions of layers and make you unable to move and everything. Personally, this is my opinion. Obviously, please do what is best for you. A decent compression layer, something that's going to compress their muscle. So tight fitting compression layer, long sleeve if you can, both top and bottom. That's going to be a really, really good thing, and just to help your muscles to relax and stop that lactic acid build up. Second of all, you want waterproof. Whether it's going to be something you can throw on top at a moment's notice, or wear the laminate gear or waterproof gear or something, absolutely fine. On the flip side of things, guys, if we do get a freak bit of weather and it is beautifully warm, like it was actually when we were up in Scotland enjoying the roads, you want to make sure you are not too hot, because that is also going to take it out of you. You need to make sure you, at a moment's notice, you can open some vents, you can open something up, or you can change very quickly at one of the stops to make sure everything's as suitable as it should be. Keith, what have you got out of interest for your chosen riding gear for this?
It's going to be the rocker jacket, and it's
I thought you'd say that.
Yeah, me too. Rocking Nirvana too.
Sorry, Dan, did you say you got the same?
Yeah, the Nirvana. I think it's the Nirvana 2, is it?
Yeah, it is, mate.
Yeah.
Nice. So does that cover all bases, you reckon?
Yeah, it's got the duck down inner vents, and then you got the full waterproof as well. And me and Jock have been out in monsoon, mate. Not even a speck on your underlayers.
Nice. Okay, so it's definitely worth investing, because I know that Rucker on the pricey side.
£1,300,
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Pricey, yeah.
You've got the vents.
Money
as well.
definitely
When it does get warm, you can open your vents are handy. You've got a couple up along your shoulders, down your sides. You can do your sides as well. So it's
nice.
Good.
Yeah, because we find, Jock, that even like in northern France, we were having to shut the vents on some days. It was getting a bit cold.
Yeah,
especially in long flowing traffic, you were having to shut vents. They're that good at ventilating.
Pairs of gloves for me. I had rain gloves and summer gloves, and at one point they got absolutely drenched, and we were drying them off in the air dryers in one of the service areas. That was work.
I remember that.
Yeah, but it's just if you're cold and miserable, just even changing a t-shirt or something underneath can make a difference,
Oh, 100%. And that's why you want to have that ability to be able to change at a moment's notice. Because, I mean, if you're on a normal ride, you can just stop, you can pull over, you can pull into the surface or whatever. When you're on, again, I keep saying it, when you're against the clock, you need to be able to change things quickly and on the fly. Because something that would normally maybe bother you a little bit, it's a bit nippy, it's a bit warm. On this challenge, the mental thing you're going through is going to be amplified tenfold. So, again, it sounds like we're labouring the fact, but you just got to be able to make sure you're as prepared as possible.
It's worth taking either like a woolly hat or something, because when you do stop, you don't want to be walking around with your crash helmet at 3 in the morning. It's pitch dark and cold or whatever. Just sticking something on warm and not having all your bike gear up tight is quite good as well.
Yep, 100%. Obviously, guys, what we'll do is when this is finished, we'll make notes and we'll make sure everyone's aware for it. One thing that was a massive lifesaver for me was keeping hydrated. So what I got was a very cheap, and I'll be honest with you, it was cheap from Amazon, the Camelback or Camel Packs or whatever they're called, the rucksack with the water bag in, the bladder, and the long straw that comes down. Get yourself one of them. Staying hydrated will keep you awake. It's amazing how a sip of cold water can just wake you up or just give you that little release that you need. So that's my biggest thing, is get yourself one of them. They're not expensive at all. On the flip side, staying hydrated, staying full of nutrition, everything is great. Don't overdo it. Don't be having big meals. Don't be having coffee, caffeine drinks, energy drinks. Stay away from them unless you're Nigel at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Espresso.
Yeah, espresso. No. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
the reason, I'm sure you.
Go on, Nigel, do it.
I've never had one before, and they all said don't do it, particularly being an old bugger. And when I had it, I just went ping. I was wide awake.
Yeah,
I needed
we
it.
thought it went to the bathroom with someone else. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
How was your Red Bull experience? How was your Red Bull experience, Nigel? Your Red Bull experience.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. He averaged 150 mile an hour on the way home. So
You weren't going to tell them that.
There's nothing new there, is there?
no, true. Right, so the reason we stay away from energy drinks and caffeine drinks and that sort of thing, because we all done it before. We're tired, we want a coffee, we have that coffee, and great, it lifts you back up again. But that high is nothing compared to the low that comes after it, because it will crash, and you will crash. And because you're already tired and you're still going, you're still having to metabolize what you're eating and drinking, it will crash even harder. So try and stay away from it. Obviously, if you're absolutely desperate and need to, and you're a couple of hours from home or whatever, then that is your discretion, and whatever it may be. So yeah. Out of interest, who's got one of those water packs?
I've got my Krieger rucksack, so I've got the hydro pack in that.
Perfect.
Probably rotten because it hasn't been used, but
I'm going to get
the ladder. Jesus.
I'm going to get one of them nice ones to match my luggage, James.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yes. No, good. I saw that actually when you bought your luggage. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. Out of interest, we've obviously got a few people watching at the moment. So hello again if you're still watching. In the comments, guys, just pop down what's your biggest mileage you've done in a day. I'd be interested to know how many miles you've done, where you started, where you finished, or if it was a nice big loop. It'd be interesting to read some of your experiences and maybe any advice that you guys have got as well. Right. So when we are on this fantastic journey of ours, hang on a second. Yeah, when we're on this fantastic journey of ours, we are going to be stopping for fuel, and we'll be stopping every 150 miles or so, which obviously will make sure everyone's suitable for their bikes on that side of things. When we're stopping, we are not stopping for long. Okay, this is not going to be a break. This is a case of fuel up, get your receipt, take a photo of the receipt next to your bike's mileage so you can validate it at the end, and we can put it all together. And we'll probably be stopping for no longer than in total 20 minutes. That is literally the sort of stopping that we're having. So the route that I've planned, we've done it. So I think in total, the mileage at the moment, if we from start to finish, the actual mileage we're planning on doing is 1,173 miles. Okay, that leaves room for error. It means we've got a bit of chance to we want to, if anything, want to overshoot it rather than undershoot it. Because if we miss it by 1 mile or 1 minute, the whole challenge is gone, kaput. So we need to be quite strict on that side of things. What I've done is every time we stop, I've planned to stop every 20 minutes at a surface station or a fuel station. And then at the halfway point, I always leave an hour and a half to 2 hour buffer. Now, that is a chance not to sit there for 2 hours, but that's a chance for us to reevaluate, see where we are, see if we need to make any changes at that point, and then take it from there onwards. We won't be sitting there for 2 hours. I can tell you that for nothing. It's very easy to want to do that, because as soon as you sit down, halfway point, you're in Scotland, you think, oh, this is going great. This is, you sit down and that's it. All the energy starts draining from you. And it's like, oh God, knowing you've got to get back on that bike and do another 550 odd miles or so is, it's tough. It's tough. So that's the kind of idea what we're doing. one thing we did last year, we did a meeting like this. It wasn't live, of course, but we did a meeting and we explained to everyone the sort of etiquette for the journey and what we're going to be doing. So, have you all heard of Top Gear rules? Basically, although we are a team, although we are doing this as a group, we need to make sure that we all understand that we are against the clock. Okay, and it is important not just for us, but the people that have sponsored us, and thank you to anyone that is watching that has sponsored us as well. That we are against the clock, and we need to keep going. So, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, if you need to stop, for whatever reason it may be, then by all means, put your hand up. We'll all come to a stop. Or I think this year we're doing it slightly differently. We're having a buddy system. So at least let your buddy know that there's an issue and you two will come to a stop, or we may pull over as a group. We'll have a quick discussion. What's going on? Can it be fixed? But ultimately, if it can't be fixed, or, and there's no shame in saying if you can't go on, you are physically knackered, or you think there's something wrong with the bike or whatever it may be, guys, we need to understand that we'll make sure you're okay, but we are going to carry on. Okay, that's one thing we spoke about doing last year. We didn't, because we I think Nigel said we were spread apart for bits of it, but we did wait and we made sure that everyone was together. And it was, although it was the right thing to do humanity wise, it was wrong for the challenge. And looking back, I think we shouldn't have done that because we cut it too fine. So I mean, is everyone okay with that sort of idea of what?
Yeah, 100%, Joe. Show's got to go on, mate.
Yeah, no, it is.
Definitely.
If it wasn't a challenge, if it wasn't so important, if we weren't raising money for such another amazing charity that we're doing for, which Might and Hospice is the charity, of course. If anyone hasn't seen.
Yeah, just make sure they're safe and keep going, mate. That's it, isn't it? If they're safe, if they're just hold up, safe, get on with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I'm glad we all, we're all going to agree with that. Also, on the back of that, we need to make sure that everyone here has a contingency plan. So you need to have, obviously, breakdown recovery if you need it. You need to have either money or finances or an idea of if you need to stop and get a hotel. If you're in Scotland and you think I can't do this, we're not going to say get back on the bike and get home. Please, for the love of God, stay safe because your safety is the most important thing. The charity will be completed by at least some of us, I would hope. But no, that's just an idea to have in mind for you there. What I would say is Life 360. So Life 360 is an absolutely fantastic app that we use in the Midlands Motorbikers at the moment. It's an app that gives you and a chance to share your location, where you are, where you've been, and how long you've been at that location for. It's a completely free app which you can download. You can have a private circle shared with your personal chosen friends or family or whatever it may be, and so they can track you independently. So although we're going to have some way of tracking, I think it's myself that I'll be tracking this year, so we can see where we are and the people can see where we are. Yes. Remember Live 360. Tell him, Glenn.
Actually, no. The wife just told me we're already on it. Actually, because of the kids, she just said, because of the kids, we made the kids get it. I have got it. I forgot what it was called.
No, that's great. So you've got
with the kids. I'll just remember now. With me and the wife, we've got the speed control on ours turned off, just in case we're speeding and we're being tracked. But with the kids, when they're in the car and that, you can see how fast they're going.
Oh, for God's sake! So yes, you can obviously see the speed, which I think.
Yeah, you can switch that off.
Yeah, that's coming straight off, isn't it?
Yeah, so mine's already turned off. I know mine's already turned off.
Good.
Yeah, she said they know how fast the school bus goes and that. When the kids go on school trips and stuff, and we're expected to go and pick them up from the school, we know how long we've got to get until we need to get there, sort of thing. We have got 360. Yeah.
There's so many good uses for that app. But what I would recommend for you guys who are doing the challenge is, if you're doing it, make sure you've got someone back home that is monitoring it. Now, obviously, we've got our support team this year. 1 second. There we go. We've got our support team this year who are amazing, who are going to be watching us and looking after us, I hope. Sue, if you're still watching, please look after us. And Zuza, of course, who's going to be looking after us as well. I think they're going to take shifts to make sure that we've been monitored at some point. So they'll be able to not only see where we are and help plan ahead, but also if there is an issue, an accident or anything like that, then, they can at least know where we are and liaise with family members and whatever. What we'll probably do, guys, is we'll take names and numbers of contact or emergency contact numbers, just so at least one of us has got them details as well. We're trying to be as organized as we can. We may be doing a little bit over the top, but I'll be honest with you, I've got a duty of care for you guys. I want to make sure that everyone here is safe and sound, and certainly that if anything does happen, we can resolve it, which is good. So Live 360. Sorry, Glenn. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, all my personal information is on a card inside my helmet. I don't know if any of you guys do that as well, but I got given that by a safe team. Where were we, darling? We were in Cornwall at a bike fest, and yeah, we got all them little cards that you put in the helmet, and you put the little sticker on the side.
Yeah, name, contact number, your PIN number.
All that's already in my helmet.
Yeah, what's your PIN number, just so I can write it down?
PIN number?
Oh, and his helmet.
No, you don't need a PIN number. Everything's contactless, isn't it? You can go so far with the contactless.
No, very true, very true. So, right, let's go through each and every one of you one by one. So, concerns. Now, obviously, you've said that you're going to do this 1,000-mile challenge, and you think, yeah, it's going to be a great idea. I don't know about you guys. Even though I've done it before, even though I know what I'm in for, I've sat back and I thought, shit, I'm actually doing this. This is actually a bit of a task ahead of us. And it starts remembering all these things, not just about the 1,000-mile journey, but about long journeys you've done before, or when you've been out with a group, you're doing a full day's worth of riding. What's your concerns that you're thinking of? Scott, let's come to you first of all, matey. What's the first thing that's making you think, shit, what have I done?
Well, you know me, as I'm a bit of a nutcase when it comes to stuff like that. So I think the thing I'm probably most concerned about is probably just like parts of my body just locking up as after so long.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you reckon you're going to do to try and counteract that?
I'm not off the top of my head. I'm not too sure what you can do, because it's like you and Nigel said, after no matter what you ride, it's like you're going to get sore after a while anyway.
Yeah. No, you are. I have got something I'm going to read out to you guys in a minute, which does counteract that, which is a nice bit of information, which is not just good for you guys, but in general, if you're riding, you start to seize up. But okay, so you're most concerned about the physical side of things.
Yeah, the riding don't bother me. It's just like I'd ride all day if I could.
Okay, I'll ask you again about 600 miles in and see what you think. Right, Keith, let's come to you, sir. What's your concerns, if any?
Probably same as Scott, just physical side, making sure that we do it, and if anything seizes up or anything like that, basically. Yeah.
No, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, luckily you're still a young lad, so you should be okay, buddy.
Yeah, Nigel's just mere babies compared with the rest of you.
Dan, let's come to you, matey. What's your concerns?
Right. Well, my biggest concern is I've got some concerns. Filtering through, getting through traffic at a sensible pace in the wet, the dark. You know, you get 3 lanes of solid traffic. You know what it's like. They pull over to stop you getting through. You can soon get some distance between us. You know, that I think that's my biggest concern is where do we draw the line between safe overtaking on whichever side you decide to use, if you like, and keeping within the law and keeping to times, but also keeping everything legal to some degree.
That's a good point.
That is a very, very important thing to mention there. We're motorbikes. We can go stupidly fast if we want to. We can filter. Being within the law is one of the biggest stipulations for this challenge. We did it last year. We didn't break the law. We were, we kept within the speed limits. We kept that average speed. We were safe. We didn't do anything stupid. It does make it harder because every part of you wants to start giving it some. But of course, if you think about it, the way that we're doing the challenge, you're getting a timestamp at each point. So it won't be hard to work out your average speed. And if they see that your average speed is above what it should be, well, that's not going to work well. Nigel, go on, mate.
Yeah, so just on that, what we did at each stop, we made sure that everybody had the postcode or whatever it was for the next stop.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you do get separated, okay, we're riding as pairs this time, so it is possible we might end up a bit apart. And in fact, we got one guy that who was 2 up, and he ended up out to sync the whole ride, and he was leapfrogging us at every services. But we were kind of all following each other. So the idea is, at least if it goes wrong within a section, as long as nobody's had an accident or anything, we will meet up at the next point, and it takes the stress out. So what we don't want is anybody riding beyond their ability because of peer pressure from
try and catch up. Yeah, trying to catch up.
Yeah, we all know the guy at the back is working a lot harder than the guy at the front. And just on that, last time James and I were swapping the lead a few times and just sharing, because I mean, again, you're riding with 40% looking in your mirrors, looking for the guy who's right at the back, making sure you're together and all this, and you get separated. And so we were kind of sharing, and it's amazing how much of a conversation you can have just by hand signals. You know, you're kind of saying, "I'll go next," you know, whatever. But it worked.
Yeah, one of them. Well, yeah, I remember them signals. Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody was riding very sensibly, and you know, a couple of times we were side by side and whatever, But you know, we made sure we never ended up more than one stop out of sync with everybody. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Go on, Nigel. We're with you at the moment. So, what's your concerns, or if you've got any concerns based on what we did last year? What's your thoughts?
If I'm totally honest, the guy I'm feeling most for here is Glenn, because if you're on an 800, your longest run so far 300 or 400 miles. I'm with James. I think you should go and do a 600 or 700 mile ride on it and see if you're comfortable. Last weekend, I did Scilly and back in a day, and that was 320 miles. It was done a little bit quicker than on the 1,000 mile, but I was knackered when I got back, and I was thinking I'd have to do that and go and do it again and go and do it again. And it's that last bit of the concentration, which is, until you've done it, you don't know. It's worth going and have a go. Just don't go silly, but go and try it.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I've drove all the way to the top of Scotland. We've done a show near Johnny Groats, and we drove there in the day, but that was in a van. And like you say, you have breaks on the way. Riding's a lot different. I think riding's a lot better than driving. Yeah, your concentration stays a lot better riding than it does driving. You get quite lazy when you're driving.
How you felt at the end of that, and then turning around and doing it straight back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't in the mental state of having to think about it like that, so I don't really know how I would have felt. But I know I was knackered when I got there, so I can imagine.
I
can definitely imagine.
We don't want to put anybody off, but it's, you know, everybody in this group can ride. I'm sure we can. It's not about that. It's about the, you know, digging deep and keeping going, and also monitoring yourself, thinking, am I sharp? Am I on it? Am I aware of what's going on? And sometimes you have to kind of tell yourself off, because if you find your mind drifting, stop for a bit.
Yeah. I love a challenge. I'm a hard goer, and I definitely don't like giving in. But you got to notice the facts that if you're getting tired, you need to wake up and stop. I realise that.
No, that is a really good point. I would make sure that we all have a good look at ourselves and be able to understand that ability. And this is, again, another reason why we've got that buddy system, because it's not just you're going to be worried about, it's that buddy. If you think that they are not riding to their ability, if you think that they are showing signs of fatigue or dehydration or whatever it may be, you need to have that ability to say, as a team, right, we need to stop. Okay, because at the worst, you can come to that stop, you can bring yourselves back to it, you can rehydrate, you can, I don't know, decide what you want to do and then continue. Because the last thing you want to do is, no, I'm all right, and just, you're going to have an accident. I'm sorry, but it's
the whole thing's doable in about 17 hours, realistically, ain't it?
What's that for the challenge?
Yeah. About 17 hours full riding.
So you're probably talking on the bike, in the saddle, you're talking about 20 hours or so physically on the bike, continuously riding. Then you've got your breaks, your 20-minute breaks here and there sort of thing.
I don't know how you are with a power nap, but if I get tired and I need a power nap, and I had one, usually it's about half hour, 45 minutes, and that would be as long as it goes. So definitely, I wouldn't feel out of place if I felt tired and I wanted to stop. Then that would be about my break. So I feel confident that I could not catch you up, but at least still finish. And I've had a break to bring myself back to a state where I was comfortable with, sort of thing.
Okay.
James had a power nap for most of the M40.
Yeah. Goldwing's got a take me home function, and it just goes, doesn't it? It's no. I mean, obviously, Glenn, that's completely up to you, matey. If you feel that that's going to be beneficial for you, that is at your discretion. And
I mean, I can't really say because I've not done it. I don't know how I'm going to be. I mean, I'm excited about the challenge. I just want to, have this practice run with whoever fancied coming with me. Actually, we can go wherever you want, whenever you want. Let me know.
That'd be good.
Otherwise,
I'll take you out. I'll take you out the long one.
And then
No problem.
do it.
That's good. So, okay, straight away, you've got a couple of offers there as well. So, Glenn, did you say you were going to bring? Have you got a friend that's coming with you as well, or are you?
Right. Now there was a lad that was with me last Thursday. His name's David, but he ain't available this Thursday. He's over in Ireland. He said he's interested. I have got an old mate that lives in Northampton. He's got a Kawasaki Versa 21 plate 1000cc. He said he's interested in as well, but I haven't heard back from him again since I spoke to him about it. Since I messaged him.
That might be a good thing to do then. If you've got these two lads that are maybe interested in it, obviously that's potentially your buddy straight away there. Go and do a full day's worth of riding, and that will worm you guys out. Nigel, yes, mate.
That would be nice, but I'd like to get to meet you gentlemen as well.
Yeah. Oh, of course. No, we're going to do that before we go anyway. Sorry, Nigel. Yes, mate.
I'm just around the corner, but yeah.
We've got one guy a friend that wants to sponsor us and come and join us for about an hour. And again, if there's anybody else that wants to come on one of the stages or anything, they're more than welcome. But obviously, it's not a fast sprint. It's kind of plodding kind of speed. But if anyone wants to come and do a visit with us, they can do.
Yep. No, absolutely, and that's going to be great. We're hoping to have either people meeting us at a couple of the points. We are going to reach out to the local villages and local towns, and hopefully we have people throwing confetti at us and horns and God knows what. Yeah, no, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, no, we do want to make it as great as possible, and of course, we want to make it as widely known as possible. We want to make sure that the social media, that potentially we're getting. I think me and Nigel are working at the moment. The Mighty Hospice working alongside some of the media as well, so we're potentially going to get some radio coverage, maybe some film coverage. I don't know yet. It's all up in the air. We're just speaking with a few people. Worth mentioning at this point, obviously, the fact that Honda UK very, very kindly are helping us again this year. They've provided us with 2 bikes so far. There potentially maybe another one I'm working on at the moment. So we have got a couple of vehicles we can potentially use. Now, they haven't been allocated yet. I think one maybe Nigel may be having it. I don't know. Actually, Nigel, are you doing it on your K16 again, or what are you thinking?
Unless they give me a new one of those to play with, because there was one that some Scottish bloke took back because it was too big for him.
You didn't go off people, Nigel, you know?
Yeah. He used to like you, Nigel.
No. It had a habit of keep taking off, didn't it, John?
Oh, man. It did. It took off too much. I just couldn't cope with it anymore. I didn't need Red Bull either.
Yeah, no. I've seen you on the bloody.
I think we can have a look and see what bikes we've got and decide when we know what's on offer. Because I think Triumph were also talking, weren't they?
Yeah, no, I've contacted.
It's just worth saying. We've had quite a few conversations and traded messages with the guys at the hospice, and I can't stress how much they're behind this. They're over the moon. The guys were saying, in the current climate, they've had, obviously their costs are going up and all of that sort of stuff. And when we weren't sure whether they'd be, interested in bikers doing this, and they said, no, we'd love to see you, we want to do it, and they're getting behind it with their PR machine. So last year we did 2 live radio interviews. I'm hoping this time we might get something, either TV or some other coverage through, and they've got contacts as well as us.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a great cause. There's no shame in doing this. We are doing this for the charity. It's a challenge not just for ourselves, because it's obviously we're going to be going through a lot. But the fact we can raise some money for it as well is amazing. And if we can get the additional support, that's just going to boost the fact that we're doing it, boost exposure, and hopefully the main thing, of course, is to raise as much money as we can. So anyone that's watching, guys, if you need the link, I'll pop the link in the comments for us later. But it's on the Just Giving page, justgiving.com/page/. /Midlands Motorbikers. The latest one is on there. We're hoping to beat our amount we raised last year. We raised an incredible amount. It kind of was nice and steady, and also had this massive spike. We raised nearly £3,000, which was amazing. It was overwhelming, to be fair. This year, however, we're doing it with a bit more planning, a bit more warning beforehand. We're trying to get as much exposure as you can, and we're trying to beat that £3,000. I think already, even though we started the fundraiser just the other day, we've already passed 500 quid. And that is, you know, from people I didn't even think were going to be sponsoring us, and new people as well. So if we get people from before just putting a quid or two or five or whatever they can do, it does. And it sounds like some sort of children in need thing, but it's so true. Every penny, every pound that people can donate will make a big difference and bring that total up massively. So if we can all
just to add to that, I think I recorded 12 separate fuel receipts because we were stopping to get the marker. So sometimes we were filling up with half a tank just to get that location peg. I think I got through just over £250 worth of fuel on the whole trip, and none of that comes out of the donation money. So everybody's looking after their bike costs, so we don't take a penny out of it. Everything goes to the charity.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that some people we actually mentioned last year, if anyone wants to sponsor us and buy us a drink on the road, you know, send us some money for the drink. That's fine. That's separate. The main thing is, you know, we're not doing this. We're not taking any, like you said, we're not taking any money at all out this charity pot. Every single penny goes on that Just Giving page, and it goes straight into the charity Mighton Hospice, which is brilliant. Saying that though, if you do want to buy us a chocolate bar, they're always grateful when we do the stops. It always does help out a little bit there. Right. Okay. So I wanted to read something out to you. So there is a few things I've been looking at and researching and trying to do the best that we can to make our lives as much as easy as it can be. And we mentioned earlier about our physical side of things. So after a while, sitting in the same position, yes, you can stretch, you can roll your shoulders, whatever it may be. You want to be able to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Now, no matter how comfortable your bike may seem, like the Goldwing last year, sitting in one position for hours and hours and hours and miles at a time is going to lead to some sore buttitis. So the biggest thing that anyone can recommend to do is move around as much as you can. Obviously, I'm not saying get off the bike if you're on the bloody motorway. Cruise control is great. Move them shoulders, move your arms, stretch your wrists, move your neck if you can do. All these little things will help out. Be safe. Don't do this in places you may need to take emergency or evasive maneuvers, like, you know, in traffic or anything like that. But every time you stop at a set of traffic lights, at a roundabout, just take 2-3 seconds to yourself. You know, look, really stretch, move it off, reset your body, and off you go again. For long trips, frequently you see a lot of people now, if they can do, they can stretch out, they can stretch their bums back, put their bum on the pillion seat, put your feet up on your cylinders or your engine bars if you've got them. That's going to stretch your legs out in front of you. Anything like that can massively help out. Yes, I know that with some bikes you can stand up. So I know, like, for example, the GS, the adventure bikes, and I think even with the KTM as well, Dan, you can stand up.
Yeah, you can quite a while.
To be fair, even Nigel, he's standing up with his arm out in front of him. He's loving it, so that's fine. So yeah, try and keep the blood flowing as much as you can. And when we do stop for fuel, move around, walk around, really get to use things. Don't just stand there, because your body's going to be knackered. It is. There's no way getting around it. When you come off a fuel stop, you stand there. You want to be moving. You, like I'm doing at the moment, just flexing your legs and just keep yourself moving. The concentration that your body's going to be going through is going to mentally drain you. So yes, the physical side of the thing, you can probably counteract that by moving around, but mentally, guys, and I cannot stress this enough, and if you haven't already, please watch the video that we did last year, and it's amazing to see the mood shift hugely from the beginning when we're all excited and happy and yeah, this is amazing, it's a charity ride. That last clip, that last thing, I think we were still 200 miles from home. Sorry, 180 miles, I remember it exactly. 180 miles from home, the mood had noticeably plummeted. There was no smiles. There was no jokes or anything like that. It was mentally draining. You're not tired, you're drained. Yeah, I mean, so, to be fair, you could be a little bit tired as well, but it's amazing how much it takes out of you. So this is why we're going to rely on whoever your buddy is, talk to each other, engage in conversation, get your mind working, and do that sort of thing. Sounds like I'm telling you all off. I'm trying to put you off the thing. I'm not. I'm just trying to get you as prepared as you can be.
As long as we don't get stuck in traffic like we did when we was coming back from the lakes, I'll be happy with that because that was painful.
Yeah, that was painful. But again, this is why we've got that fantastic support team behind us who's going to be helping us out, looking at the traffic. We've got some great websites which we're going to use to make sure we try, and it is try and stay ahead of it all. As well as keeping your hands warm as well. It's amazing how the cold temperature at night, when you've been riding all throughout the day, then it gets to night time. It's amazing how much that temperature does plummet. So after all that, guys, who's excited for it?
As long as
I'm off now, Dan. I'm going now. I'm off now. See you later.
Mad, isn't it? I think it's going to be. No, we will.
No, looking forward to it.
It's for a good cause, so I'm looking forward to it. As long as I pack my device, I'll be fine.
You guys or anybody else that was interested in going for a wild ride with me, I think there's just a normal ride really, but there's an awesome fishmonger down in Looe in Cornwall. Now that would be an awesome ride there and back. Just purely to go down there and get some nice smoked haddock. Because it's a lot better than what we get from our local supermarkets.
We're so motorbikers, aren't we? We're the only kind of species of people in the world that will go to Cornwall for some fish and chips. It's ridiculous.
Most definitely.
So let me get this straight. So we're going to be following you for 3.5 hours on the motorway with a load of dead fish in the back of your bike.
I'll follow you if you want.
Oh, love it.
That was good. But yeah, it's about the sort of distance you want to do just to get a feel for the 1,000 mile, really.
So you're thinking down to Cornwall, essentially?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, and like say, you've got motorway most of the way, but then when you get down there, then depending on the traffic, it can slow and whatever else. And then going down towards nearer to Looe as well, the roads get narrow, so you won't be able to keep up with your average speed. It would be.
Oh.
Later, what your signal went then, mate?
Yeah, your signal, mate. I couldn't hear a word you said. Say that again, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'll just start again. Yeah, so it's motorway majority of the way.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
I'll go back inside a minute. So it's motorway most of the way.
Yeah.
And then once you get down there, obviously you've got a little bit of a dual carriageway, but then as you're getting closer to Looe and that, you're on the single track roads. Your average speed.
Sorry, Glenn, have you personally done that route before, from where you are down?
We go down there for holidays an awful lot. Yeah.
Okay. So, and have you done that on the bike yet?
We've not done it on the bike yet. No.
So imagine, because I think we actually spoke before you came on. We spoke about this from roughly Midlands area where you are, or where we all are.
Yeah.
Down to Land's End and back in a day. That's a bit of a task, isn't it? Let's be honest. Twice.
It is. But the mileage is a lot less than what we want to do.
Yeah, it's definitely worth doing. And the more I think about it, I'm thinking, Nigel, why are we doing this again? Why are we doing this again?
I said after the last one, I'm never
we
ever
love
doing
riding.
it. You taught me into it.
Yeah, you didn't take much persuasion, mate. To be fair,
the guy at the Iron Butt Challenge, when I said to him, he gave us the certificate and he vetted everything and he went through everything. And I said, I'm never doing it again. He went, you will. And I'll tell you why. I went for a ride a few weeks after we got back to South Wales. I did 350 miles around South Wales and I felt cheated. I was back home for 11:30 in the morning. I said, well, is that it? it ruined me for my ride outs for a couple of months, I reckon, because you're thinking, well, I'm just about ready to fill up and go around again, and it's a totally different way of riding. It's really bizarre, and I can't really describe it. The best description is, when you're on the motorway in your car, your van, your lorry, whatever it is, and you hold 70 mile an hour for a long time. When you come off at the roundabout, you feel like you're walking. Yeah. And it's a bit like that. Your brain gets used to going constantly that speed for hour after hour after hour, and at the end, it's really weird. Your whole bodies can become conditioned to it, and then when you come off at the roundabout in Warwick on the way back, you don't know where you are. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that was weird feeling. It was crazy, to be fair. But no, I mean, listen, it's something that we all love. We all love motorbiking. We all love riding, and this is the perfect mix. And it was a great idea. Whoever invented the Iron Butt Association, which is where we got the inspiration to do it. The Iron Butt Association, for anyone that doesn't know, is a global organization that does these sort of challenges. So the Saddle Saw 1000 is obviously the one that we're doing. This is actually technically, believe it or not, the entry level version of the challenges they do. They do one that's 1,500 miles. They do a 3,000 one. They do a 5,000 one. They do some mental, absolutely.
But they're not in 24 hours.
No. That's worth saying. It's not. Mind you, there is the.
I'm as crazy as my kids.
Oh, brilliant! Really light there.
He's out playing in the rain right now.
Fair play. Interesting though, there is that 1,500 miles on which we've actually spoke about, Nigel. Which that one is to be done in 24 hours. And if I'm being honest with you, depending on how this one goes, I might give that a go. So, guys, if you're interested and you fancy doing it with us, obviously depending on how well we get on this time, it may be something else we do, and maybe another opportunity to raise some.
Maybe on the continent for that one.
That's the same as what I said to you before about the four corners. It's like, and you tried telling me that it's not possible, but obviously it's like they've got the people that have actually done it in 24 hours.
In fact, Scott, actually, if you tell us all what that is, because I didn't think that was a possible challenge to do, but it is. It's a known one. So go on, Scott. What is that one? So
the challenge is you've got to visit like it's technically not four corners of the UK, but you've got to visit Land's End, John O'Groats, and what's the other two, James? I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was basically the north, south, east, west points of the UK.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the UK, of England, Scotland, and Wales. So you're not going into Ireland.
And you've got to do it in under. Well, for the entry level is like 36 hours, I believe. But they've also got the gold challenge as well for it, which is like doing it in under 24 hours, which is extremely insane.
That's got to be tough. I mean, based on our experience, okay, we've only done the one challenge, but based on that experience, that was tough to do in 24 hours. So to do that much, I mean, how many miles was it? Did you actually remember how many miles it was?
Depending on which way you go, it can be anywhere between 1,400 to 1,900.
Well, it's a bit of a difference, bloody hell. But yeah, no, I'm gonna look into that because that's interesting. That'd be crazy. But well, again, they call it a challenge for a reason. They want to keep you on your toes. They want to keep you doing it. So, okay, cool. So, obviously, go on, Nigel.
Sure. Can we just talk about the start and finish times?
Yes, go for it.
I think last time we did it for sensible reasons. We left at 4:30 and got back about 4:10. But the last 3 hours were in the dark, rain, and whatever, and we were all knackered. And I'm not suggesting we go a lot later, but I'm just wondering whether we should aim to have the last couple of hours after sunrise.
See, yes, I mean, I've thought about this as well, if I'm being honest with you, and I'd be interested to hear what everyone's thoughts are on this as well, because there's pros and cons, obviously, for all of it. I think the reason that a lot of people who do these sort of challenges choose to do it so early in the morning is for the exact reason we've already spoke about. You get up nice and early, you get that fantastic chunk of the journey done, and the sun's come up, all the rush hour traffic's gone, and you're in Glasgow, for example, and you've got a fantastic bit ahead of you. So starting later, yes, that's going to help for the end of the journey, which is essentially the harder bit of things. But there's more chance of hitting the rush hour traffic. And if you think about it, the way we're going, I think we're doing the M6, aren't we? Which is for that big chunk.
Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow. So one way or another, you're going to hit something.
Yeah, there you go. That's the list of places we're going. I mean, what's everyone's thoughts? What does everyone think about leaving times? I mean, Keith, go on. Let's come to you first of all. Any idea on what you think may be beneficial?
Well,
it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to think about.
It's very hard. I mean, you do want to try and get past all the morning traffic. You want to be up Scotland, don't you? Get up there
if possible,
and get past all the traffic, and then during the day. All right, I don't know if there's going to be that much in Scotland, but then on your way back, you're going to hit rush hour traffic and everything like that. Halfway down, aren't you? So I don't know. It's a difficult way to midnight to midnight. That would be a bit of a challenge as well, wouldn't it?
It is. I mean, the hardest point of any of this, in all honesty, is, as we've already said, that morning hours. That when it's cold, it's dark, there's no one around you. That's the point where you start, because you've got nothing else to focus on. It's just you, headlights, road. It's very hard to try and stay focused. Dan, out of interest, what's your thoughts? What would you think about leaving time?
I was just thinking that, like Nigel said, just getting closer to sort of most people's working men's normal get up time, about 6. So I think, because then you're not disturbing your sleep clock too much, I think, as well. It's more of a natural pattern, isn't it?
Yeah,
really.
That's a really good point, because you think, oh, I'll have an early night and whatever, but your brain's going on this. You know it's coming. You know you've got your alarm set. So actually,
and you keep waking up thinking you've missed your alarm and all that rubbish, and it's just. And then if you try and do a midnight, you're going to try and get sleep during the day, and it's just not going to happen. With all the goodwill in the world, it's never going to happen. But I think shifting it to sort of, because obviously I'm assuming we've got to get from Leicester to the start point, which is going to be a good 45 minutes for us anyway.
So the start point, we need to try and work out where is best for everyone. So we're going to take into account where everyone lives, and we're going to try and choose a place. And this is what we did last time. We chose, I think it was Warwick, wasn't it? Because I was north, you were south.
See, that's a good hour for us, James. That's a good hour for us.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we will take everyone's addresses when we get your details near the time, and we'll try and find a suitable place for everyone, because we want it to be as fair as we can. We don't want to make anyone out of, for God's sake, we don't want you traveling an hour to then do 1,000 miles, because that's going to, you'll be dead before you start, for God's sake.
No, well, I definitely think I definitely think something in the order of 5 to 6 o'clock would be not an unreasonable start time, I think. And like you say, you can break the back of it, because getting past the M40, and all that, and M6 will be M6, won't it? So
yeah.
So
and then you've got at least an hour at the end. It's probably going to be after sunrise, haven't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's worth saying at this point, so we've got some fantastic sponsors already, which is fantastic. So one of the sponsors, I think Glenn's just come back on. There he is. One of the sponsors we've got this year is engineered by Zycam. That's all right, matey. No worries. So one of the sponsors is engineered by Zycam. They used to be called Image 4 Security. They are sponsoring us this year. They're actually saying that they're going to provide us with some sort of riding gear, or somewhere that we can, signify that we're part of a group, or maybe high vises or something. We're sorting that out in the background at the moment. But they've also wanted to give us a start and finish point, if you like. So wherever we choose to start and finish from, they produce the guardsman, which for those of you who don't know is a barrier which goes across your garage. You can lift it up and down and secure your bike in. So that is going to be a physical start. It sounds stupid, I know. A start and finish line, if you like, for our journey. It's a nice little touch. It's a nice way that they.
I'll give you all my address if you want.
Yeah, nice try.
Nice try.
We'll put it across the motorway at junction 15.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Hold up all the traffic, and
I'm sure I'm in the middle of both of you.
What we did last year, which worked really well, we picked a start point that was within 5 minutes of getting onto the motorway.
Yes,
and we didn't want was to be doing the first half an hour at 30 mile an hour. So within minutes of the BP garage M45, we were on the motorway and going, and we were up to 70 mile an hour within minutes of setting off.
Yeah, no, which did.
That's pretty much where I live.
Yeah.
I can see what you're trying to do, Glenn, but we're going to try and make it as even as we can for everyone. So,
I totally agree with you, but I feel like I'm already on the M6 and the M1. I've got one either side of me.
Well, there you go. You get the head start for us, mate. You clear the path for us. That'd be great. So yeah. One of the things that is definitely important as well beforehand is getting as much rest and as much sleep as you can beforehand. Don't try and stay up, and if we're leaving at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, get an early night, for God's sake. You're going to be excited or anxious or whatever. Please get some sleep. I know that Sue has just popped up in our group chat, which you've got, saying getting sleep before you go. And yes, that is massively important. Scott, are you robbing a bank or something? What are you doing there, mate?
I was just thinking you look like Tinky Winky, doesn't he?
I'm literally trying to stay as long as I can, like literally getting ready for work.
Oh God, yes, you're going to work in a minute, aren't you, mate?
Yes.
That's all right, mate. No worries. So yeah. Tinky Winky. I'm sorry, I just got that. That was brilliant.
He's on
James,
the throne.
you should it's like you calling me names now. You should see what I'm currently trying to buy.
I don't want to. No.
No,
This is
No,
actually-
keep that one for
James,
yourself,
you-
mate.
James, you've already seen. I've already sent you the photo.
Oh, the gimp suit. Yeah, that's fine, mate.
No.
You're into that BDSM life, mate. That's fine. You enjoy it.
Oh dear.
No,
Oh dear. Put it back on.
What's that, Dan? What's that?
There's a golf ball.
That looks like a ball gag for your mouth, mate.
Yeah, for a ball gag, yeah, for his gimp suit.
I don't know. You never know. Glenn might see it first as he's only around the corner.
Oh, Jesus. Right, Scott, are you off, buddy?
Yes, I am. So I'll catch you guys
I'm
later.
about half a mile away from the A5 if you're going up that.
Yeah, I'm literally in Lilbourne myself. So.
Oh, are you? You don't live opposite the head of steam, do you?
Yes, I do.
Don't forget we're live.
Oh, you've got
Look at your live.
Guess where I live.
I've got
You
the
want a
what? Sorry.
tiger, Scott?
Yeah.
You want a tiger?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I noticed at you the other day. I'm on the corner at
probably
the
did.
top of the street. Yes,
Right,
sir.
I'm gonna go because I was
There
gonna
you
be late.
go. I've got my partner, James.
Right, I'll tell you what.
It's like we're turning into a dating site now.
Yeah, hang on.
If we
It's
come
like
from
Love
the same
Island.
village, surely we should be
Right,
partners.
I'll catch you guys later.
Scott, take care, mate. See you soon, buddy.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll
I'll
do.
see you
Catch you tomorrow.
in a minute, Scott.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Glenn's
I
gonna
think
be
I
out
found
there
a partner,
waving.
James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever you do outside this challenge is up to you
James.
guys. That's fine.
The,
Yes,
the
mate.
hospital's emailed me about the terms going for that photo shoot with them. So if anybody wants to do that, we need to get that
Yes.
date set.
So, yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Might and Auspice, as part of their PR side of things, they want to help us out as much as they can. And they obviously want to raise a bit of a story, a bit of a blog about it as well. So they've invited us down to have a photo shoot, an interview, if you like, which will go on their websites and everything. So if anyone's interested in that, we'll try and get some dates. I think they've already given us a couple of dates, haven't they? And then we'll get that arranged. And, of course, it's open to anyone doing the challenge with us, guys. So we'll let you all know in the group chat. And if you can come down, brilliant. It'd be great to see you. We'll try and get those high vises sorted before then. Yeah, so that's great.
So I'm just walking down to the end of my drive, see if I can see Scott leaving at the.
No, because now your signal's going to go. I mean,
Yeah, he ain't left yet. He lives just down there then.
are you serious? You're literally
Yeah,
neighbours.
within some flying distance. I didn't even know that was how close we were.
James,
I need to get out of the rain just for a
We're going to
second.
get T-shirts for everybody.
Say again, matey.
Yeah,
The hospice we're
I'm getting wet now.
going to organise T-shirts for everybody as well. They
Yes.
wanted the sizes and stuff, so that's something else we need to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll get everyone. I think what we're going to do in the next couple of days is we're going to send out information requests for everyone. So we'll get everyone's normal T-shirt size, high vis size, any requirements or anything we've got. The bikes, we need the regs, we need your emergency contact details. So we'll get that asked over the next couple of days, and we'll make sure that all the ducks are in a row with that side of things. I know that Sue and Zuza and myself will kind of run that in the background, which is great. So yeah,
And then we've got the posters everybody can send out and persuade everybody to put those up as well. There's a QR code on there which takes you straight to the link.
yes, there is. In fact, I'm going to work on getting that poster up because I'm sure I've got that somewhere here as well. I
Actually,
think
James, if you send me that as well,
yes.
that poster, because I'm having the word with Hitachi, I've got to compose an email for them.
Oh, amazing.
And send it into our marketing. So
Mate, that would
if
be
you've got
incredible.
something, then I can send it into them.
That would be absolutely amazing, mate. I will. I'll work on that while we're speaking about things now, and I'll see if I can get that poster out. Oh, he's back. Is he back? I don't know. If he's back. He's back.
I've got the poster up at work, and I'm going to see if the guys next to us in their companies will put it up as well.
Excellent. In fact, that bit might be a good idea. Obviously, I'll push it on Facebook and social media as well. We'll get those posters printed. We'll get them put up in various dealerships or anything bike related. But the great thing about this charity is it doesn't have to be bike related. This is a charity, a challenge. It doesn't matter if it's bike related or not. A challenge that we're doing to raise money for a fantastic challenge. So yes, we'll definitely do that. And if you need any help or support from us, guys, we can obviously reach out to Myton or if anything we can do to make it easier for you as well. So yeah. we'll see what we can raise over the next couple of days. Anything anyone wants to discuss? Any questions? Any worries? Oh, Nigel, typical. Go for it, mate.
Yeah. Why don't you circulate to all the group that's doing this each other's emails or contact numbers? So if anyone's got any questions or they want to get hold of anybody, we'll just ping them a message.
Yeah, we what within to us lot.
Yeah, with this. So if anybody says, what about this or what, how does that work, or what do I take with me? If you want to ping me or James or anything, a message, I'm quite happy for you to have my contact details or James's, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we've got the group chat going on at the moment, but yes, outside that, absolutely, yeah, we can certainly do that, and we'll discuss that off.
James.
Yes, mate.
James, have you got plans for us all to the people that are going to sort of meet up and have an hour out together so we can sort of understand how people ride and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's just a fishmongers in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be up for that.
Because obviously there's a couple of guys that unfortunately can't be on the live stream with us tonight. So yes, we're going to try and arrange a time and a place where everyone can meet up, get to know each other, just have a chat, a joke, and obviously see each other, see the bikes. If we can go for a quick ride together as well, as you say, to see our riding style.
Just to get some general principles of group riding.
Exactly, and the normal things like staggered riding and
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
exactly.
And
so yes,
Nigel, no scraping foot pegs.
I'm now putting the panniers down, mate.
Oh, for God's sake, yeah.
Jock, you're quite good at dragging your spotlights, aren't you?
Shush.
Yeah.
I'm not on this one. That was the 16, mate. That was
the
We've seen the 1600 scrape. I think that I still remember that day when I was taking a video of Nigel coming to photos. I was trying to take a video of Nigel, and he was coming down the road. And he was heading straight at me, and I thought he's going to turn in a minute. I'm holding a camera. He's going to turn in a minute. He was doing He was going, and it's not till last minute. He just goes woof like that. The bike was at like 60 degrees. It was ridiculous.
I think
Suzy's
still in therapy.
Yeah, I know. It took me a few therapy sessions to get over that, to be fair, so it's fine. I know what Jock's bloody like. Jock, honestly, we shouldn't be saying this on there, but remember that time when I was going down was I at a pillion or what? I don't know. We're going down this country lane, there was a tractor, so I, of course, slowed down for the tractor, and Jock just goes, he's just there. I'm like, felt like you were going to get on the bike with me at one point, mate. It was ridiculous.
No, I was like that. I waved, didn't I? I just stopped. And...
You waved. You gave me a high five. You were that close. I don't know. Well, listen, guys. I think we've covered pretty much everything that we need to for tonight. So, unless anyone's got anything else they want to bring up or anything else to discuss, no.
I think they're all sorted, really.
Yeah, I think we've all got it. Just got to get it done.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what I need to do
safely.
So, Glenn, you're going to give us a call. Glenn, in the group chat, we want to see a selfie of you at the fishmongers before you go home, and then come back and get your dinner, and then go back again. Yeah, is that all right, mate? Yeah,
and bring us one.
Yeah.
Oh, James, James. Go on, Dan.
If I do it there again twice, that's like 1,200 miles.
That's pretty much what we're doing, mate. We're doing 1,170 miles in total. Seriously.
Is it true we're only taking Pete to translate for us?
For God's sake. Sorry. Dan,
I'll definitely do the fishmongers. I'll definitely do the fishmongers. Most definitely. You're going to get some evidence.
Sorry, guys. Let's just go to Dan. Dan, what are you saying, mate?
Yeah. What are we doing with regards to headsets? Are we Senna, Cardo, Mesh?
Completely.
Just worry about our pairs or?
Right, so completely up to you guys. I would say, as a bare minimum, make sure you've got some form of communication between you and your buddy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm being honest with you, 1,000 miles with whoever it is in your ear will do your bleeding head in. I personally put some sort of music on, or what helped me massively last time was podcasts. People actually speaking, conversations, because music can get quite repetitive. You can actually get. Go on, Nigel. What are you going to say?
I've got Sue. She phones me every 20 minutes.
Sue's watching.
Brilliant.
Sue's going to put something in the chat in a second. That'll be a dig at her there. That's fine.
I don't suppose cups and bits of string will help, will it?
No.
Next time you see Nigel, he's going to have a black eye.
But I'm sure my wife will be watching me on the 360 every second and ringing me.
Good. No,
Anyway,
good.
I've been speaking to Triumph, and I'm going to do it on an electric bike. It's going to take me 4 weeks.
Yeah, God, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? All right, actually, quick. I don't know why that's reminding me of that. Fuel range. What is everyone's fuel range? Now, obviously, Keith, I know yours is the same as mine. Nige, yours is what, 320 odd?
Yeah, about, a couple of days.
Couple of days. Dan, what's yours on your KTM? What's your range?
If we were at 300,
About
I can do 300. Yeah.
Glenn, what's yours? 30, 40 miles? What? What's your...
No. 4 days.
I've maxed out at about 160 so far.
Jesus Christ.
Right. The good thing is we're not going to be hooning it. Okay. So that's whatever you're.
So right, I might get 190 then.
Okay. Well, we're planning.
I'll bring a couple of fuel cans with me. I have got the boxes to put a couple of fuel cans in, so it's not the end of the world.
Right, Glenn. In your practice run that you do, I can't. Right. So in your practice run, which you're going to do,
my short runs are really fast. So obviously my long runs have got to be slow now.
Well, this is what I mean. It's training. It's discipline.
Yeah.
Anyone can jump on a bike and go, "Wah!" and you'll get lovely and far. But then, of course, you'll be stopping a lot more frequently. When you do your test run, clock your mileage, work out what your average sort of tank range is. I mean, we're going to need to know that as well, because if it is less than what we've planned, we're going to need to change the fuel stops. Maybe, I don't know, or we may just say like you guys will stop at this particular fuel station and we'll stop at this one, and we'll just be crossing each other the whole time. I don't know yet. We'll work that out as we go along.
I think our longest single stint was about 225, something like that, wasn't it? And the average was probably around about 150, 170, something.
Yeah. The average, comfortably, we tried to keep it around 140, 150, but because of different areas and things, and there was bits that we were going.
That shouldn't be a problem then. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so going.
Like you say, keeping the speed down, and it makes a big difference.
For fuel, I think it was about 12 times I stopped for fuel, but some of those times I'd only used about a third of a tank, but it was to get the marker to prove where we were, and just to get a break and walk around for 5 minutes.
Well, that's the one thing.
Yeah, I think mine's either a 15 or a 16 litre tank. It ain't amazingly big.
On the K1600, I can press a button and this little drone comes out the back, and you can come in and refuel.
Yeah, BMW supported. BMW supported just literally like brings you a beer. It's like, oh, fantastic!
I've got one of them.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
On the backpack as well.
I'll bring the tow back when we do.
Well, it's between you and your buddy, mate.
I've got 3 boxes, so 2 of them could have 2 5-litre fuel cans in, along with what I already carry.
James, can I just say something about panniers? You make sure you can get through tight traffic with them on as well.
I have experienced it, and you are limited to about a 3-foot gap.
Well, just be careful, because a couple of close lorries, you won't be getting through.
Yeah.
Matt, what you recommend taking them off for that journey then?
If I'm being honest with you, mate, you want to be going as light and as aerodynamic as possible. So if you've got panniers, try not to use them if they're detachable.
Well, I haven't ridden that bike without them on yet, to be honest with you. So I suppose it would be nice to see what it's like.
So
we got stuck on the M20 for 2 hours because of panniers.
Oh, shit, man. Okay.
Right.
Well, again, going back to what we said earlier, guys, if you are doing any changes... I felt that for you, Keith, don't worry. So, going back to what we said earlier, guys, if you are looking at doing anything different to your bike, where it's taking panniers off, putting them on, top box on, off, whatever it may be, make sure you get a damn good journey under your belt with the bike in that position. Okay, so if you are, you said you're potentially taking panniers, maybe with the fuel in, that's going to obviously change the dynamics of the bike and everything, and with the slosh of the fuel as well. So make sure they're secured down properly. Personally speaking, I wouldn't take any panniers. I wouldn't take any additional fuel. I would just do what your bike is capable of, because although you take an extra fuel, that's extra weight. That's going to kill the fuel even quicker. As lightweight as possible. That's my opinion. Obviously, it is up to yourself.
No, I like that opinion. I do like that opinion. I'll take that into stride, and I'll see what happens. I'll definitely have my top box though, because can have some nice accessories in there.
Well, your ball gag and your gimp suit, and yeah, that's fine.
All that.
James, I think in terms of stuff we're going to take, I am taking the panniers and stuff, but then I'm used to doing that. But I've got a little first aid kit. I think we take basic tools, don't we? We don't.
Yeah, I've got my down kit.
Yeah, things like sticky tape, cable clips, and pliers, whatever. Just the kind of things that just you can't do a full service, but you might be able to patch something up.
So between you,
in one of my side ones, I've got a couple of tools, me goggle cleaner, my lock and stuff, and then the other side, I've got me cover for my bike and my alarm. The brake alarm, the throttle and brake alarm. And then in the top one, I've just got whatever else in. But
honestly, Glenn, you won't need any of that, mate. Anything that you can dispose of that you won't need. So locks, disc locks, leave them at home. Okay, because
I'm not leaving the bike at the end of the day, so I understand that. Yeah,
exactly.
And to be honest, I'm not sure I'd recommend carrying fuel either, spare fuel. We'll try and make the route so we can get you to garages because you don't want to be doing that. And even then, if you stop to fill it up, we'll be gone anyway. So we'd be better off managing before making the stops. Maybe some change of clothes or something if you get soaked. Spare gloves or nick some of those plastic gloves.
I did get a decent set of RST full waterproof from JFG or something like that near Wellenbar.
Yeah, it's like James said, you want to be able to take stuff off and like if you've got.
They're not actually waterproof because I rode in the rain the other day and I got absolutely bloody soaked. But I have got a lovely Oxford jacket that fits over the top of it and some workwear waterproofs that are fully waterproof to pull over the top of everything that I already wear. So it's just that tricking the brain into thinking you're comfortable. So if your gloves are soaking wet, if you've got spare ones, great. If not, put the little plastic gloves inside, whatever. And then if you get wet right through to the skin, changing a t-shirt and maybe a sweater or something, it's just enough to keep you comfortable. We got absolutely drenched near Manchester. By the time we were halfway up Scotland, we were bone dry again, and it didn't rain again until light rain around Berwick-on-Tweed quite a few hours later. So we will get rain at point. The trick is not being sitting miserable for hours in it. We weren't miserable, but not. Was it last Friday or the one before? I can't remember. But I come home and I gripped my hand together. My waterproof gloves were ringing out from where the water was going up my arm, coming back down, going in the gloves. Every bit of me was just absolutely drenched. It took a while for me to dry out.
Glenn, amplify that by 1,000 miles. Now imagine how you're going to feel at the end of it. Going back to one point we said a second ago, and I was just thinking about this on the fly. We've just said about don't take locks, don't take things. What if there's an issue and you have to stay at a hotel overnight? Maybe I don't know. Maybe actually take something that you can just secure your bike as a worst case scenario. I don't know. Think about it yourself. Discuss that between you and your buddy, whoever it may be.
I'm used to riding with my boxes on, so I think I'm just going to continue as it is. I mean, it doesn't take long for a gap to open up and you to go find another route round, sort of thing.
You'd be surprised. Just be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. But he's gone. That wasn't me. That was not me. Bye. No. So I was going to say something. I forgot what it is now. No. That's it. So what we're taking in our kits and things, and we've obviously got panniers and pillions and God knows what. He's back. He's coming back on. What I would say, guys, is between your buddies, at least one of you have a puncture repair kit. If you've got one, and maybe one of those little handy compressors. So those handy compressors are like 30 quid or whatever it is. Just get one, whack it.
Yeah, I've got one, and a jump start.
Jump start as well, fantastic. There you go, that's good. So just because puncture is probably the only one that is more likely than anything else to happen.
Yeah, we shouldn't need jump start. I won't stop in long enough.
Yeah. So so we'll do that. Right, guys. We've covered a lot more than I thought we would. Actually, I don't think there's anything else we need to discuss. Certainly on the live video things. I don't want to bore anyone else with that side of things. So what we'll do, guys, we will probably leave it there. Oh, hang on. What's this one? Oh, Pavel's just said my RST gloves gave up on the Lake District trip after 3 hours. That was torrential rain, mate. I remember that well. So yes, I understand that. One thing that Nigel said a minute ago, which is a really, really good hint, and anyone watching can take this as well. If you've got waterproof gloves, or if they're not waterproof in this case, you know when you go to a petrol station, you get the little gloves that people use to fill up their fuel when they don't want to get petrol on your hands. Just pop that on, then put your glove on. It's amazing how well that works, and it just stops the water getting through to your hands as well.
I'll bring a box of them with me. I use them at work.
I bet you do. Not. Yeah, that's brilliant, Keith. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll bring the sheep.
I'll buddy with you, James.
Yeah, I would, mate. We'll leave Keith and Nigel alone for it. That's fine.
I'll cut my nails, not like the last time, Dan.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Right, guys. What we'll do then? Well, let's leave it there because I think there's a few more things we're going to discuss, but we'll do that off the live. We'll do that within the group chat as well. Certainly, the details about who's what. Certainly, just go through in your head one more time the magnitude of what we're taking on here. It is a hell of a task, and obviously the only thing I will say is please can we push this on social media, tell as many people as we can. There's no such thing as too much exposure for this particular event. I want to really push it out there and get as many people involved and
well, James,
yes,
yeah, if I'm off to a KTM dealer tomorrow, if you want to get some stuff over to me tonight, I can try and have a word. I'm not going to mention where right now because I don't think it's fair. But if you just let me know, send me some stuff over, and I can have a chat with them tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Any dealerships, any places that is open to the public. Obviously, if there's anyone which we know personally,
I was considering chucking 20 quid a bike in to support the fuel from my company.
Wow. That's
sort of give, let me have a think about it. Depends on bike numbers, really. What sort of numbers are we looking at, James?
How many coming on this particular ride that you're going to be sponsoring? 305.
Yeah. Well, a 300 of those yours?
Yeah, they're all mine. Yeah. So I think we've got at the moment it's fluctuating a little bit because I know people have got different things that are going on, and obviously I know Simon, bless him, has got a bit of bike trouble, so we're kind of around the 7 or 8 mark at the moment.
That's fine. I'll probably do a bit more then. Yeah.
That's up to you. Dan, we're not going to hold you to that. I'll speak for myself here. Don't worry about fuel for me. Just put that in the pot, mate. Honestly, because that's amazing, and we appreciate that. So, right, guys. What we'll do then, we'll call it a night there. We will go back into the chat in a second on the Facebook chat we've got, and we'll discuss anything else that we've discussed here. We'll certainly start getting things like the personal details. I've got a spreadsheet which I'm going to ask you all to fill out if that's okay, and that's brilliant. Any last things you want to say, guys? Nigel, let's go to you first, sir.
No, just build up to it and don't do anything new on the day. Try and do it early, but it'd be great fun to ride with you guys.
Yep. No, absolutely. Dan, any last words, sir?
No. I think I'm just looking forward to it, mate. I think it's a good bunch of lads by the looks of it as well. Nice to get out with you pre-trip as well, just so we sort of gel, if you like. I know we've rode together before, and I've ridden with Nigel a few times, and obviously Jock.
Sorry about that.
But, yeah.
Sorry.
Shame, innit?
No, that's fine. We'll definitely arrange this, and we'll get we'll get more and more people involved in that. Keith, go on, sir. 100%.
Now, I think we all know each other. We've all ridden together, so we'll just get out and try and get a few stints before we do it for real, I think. Absolutely. Yep. No, absolutely. And Glenn, over to you. Any last word? Any last word? It sounds like a last request, doesn't it? But any last word, Glenn?
Do you like smoked haddock?
I'll have one. Yeah. As long as it's still warm when it gets here, that's fine, mate. That's fine with me.
Well, no, it's got to be cold when it gets to mine, but it'll be warm when you get to mine to eat it.
Good. Right, I'll hold you to that.
And then,
Okay, so guys, thank you very much for coming on the live stream tonight. It's been brilliant. It's been nice to kind of put some names to faces. Obviously, Glenn and obviously everyone meeting each other as well, which is brilliant. We will speak before then, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna let you all log off as we go, and I'll do a bit of an outro on the live stream. So thanks very much for joining us, guys.
No worries. Cheers, James. See you, mate.
See you soon, guys. Right, so. There we go. That is the end of the live stream as we have tonight. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure. We've got some really good comments come through, and I've already had quite a few messages come through on the Facebook side of things as well. So it's been brilliant to have a lot of people watching and engaging. We are going to share the living crap out of this because we want as much exposure as we can, and we want everyone to certainly be aware of what we're doing, and hopefully we'll be able to have a way of tracking us and following us, and there'll be lots of updates as we go along. We've got some great teams and great companies which have invested in us already and are saying that they're going to help and sponsor us and do what they can just to try and make the journey as good as it can do. If anyone else watching this has any hints or tips or anything that they want to let us know about, or anything that they can do which may help us, please, we invite anyone to be involved with it. But that's it. That's it from us tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I know that's a really cheesy thing to say, but it's great to have you on board. Guys, thank you very much and enjoy. I'll speak to you all soon. Good night.